Panos, and this is our Socratic seminar. We have been reading the book Red Kayak, and today we will be discussing if Brady should be held accountable for Ben's death. These are our speakers, coaches, and on the outside are our evaluators. And we'll begin.
So who would like to start with the opening statement, speakers?
We believe that Brady should not be held accountable for Ben's death because Brady did not intend for Digger and JT to take his ideas seriously.
I agree with Angela. I think that it was not Brady's fault because he did not plan it, and therefore he didn't even know what JT and Digger were doing, so he had really no part of it.
Okay, Nolan, just read. So just so you guys know, you have about 10 minutes for the first round. So you're trying to get out as much as you can in your debate in these first 10 minutes before halftime. So, what was the last thing that was said? Okay, so what did you say, Taylor? What was your...
I said that I don't think I agree with Angela that he didn't have any part in the plan. He didn't know that JT and Digger was planning on doing this, and when he found out, he was surprised and he didn't.
Okay. So Taylor doesn't believe that he had any part in it. Does anyone want to refute that point?
I agree with
So give some evidence. Use some quotes. Use some background research, guys. That's why this is all in front of you.
I agree with Taylor because he didn't have any part of it because he said on page 98 in chapter 13 paragraph 6 he said, "My God, he said, this is what he said, "My God," I uttered, staring with horror at the drill in my hand. Did Digger have something to do with the sinking of the kayak? So this shows that Brady was clueless and dumbfounded about using the drill. So he can't be part of it.
Brady also really liked the D'Angelos, and I don't think he would never really want to hurt them in any way by drilling the holes in the kayak.
Yeah, since he worked for Mrs.
Cameron has.
Honestly, I just want to find it as much as he's okay.
So what does that mean, Cameron?
I really have no idea.
Ben's death, I'm trying to save him.
Yeah.
Yeah, in chapter 2, paragraph 5, page 11, Brady said, when he was talking with JT and Digger, he said, exposure, if he fell in, he could die in like 20 minutes. So Brady really didn't want anything to happen to them, and he was concerned that something could happen. So I don't think that if he cared so much about Ben and anybody that went out on the lake, he didn't even know who was really in the kayak. I mean, he didn't know who was going to be if something would happen.
Also
Yeah.
on page 11, paragraph 9, Brady said, "Come on, let's yell something." So he wanted to protect Ben, and was it D'Angelo's?
And on page 30, paragraph 1, chapter 5, he says, this is how we know he truly cares for Ben. I just hoped I hadn't hurt Ben. The first thing I did was get his wet life jacket off that soaked his parka. Then I took off my own coat, wrapped it around him, and put my cap on his head. So this shows that he really does truly care for Ben and he doesn't want anything to happen to him. So he shouldn't be held accountable.
And if he was, he wasn't intending to kill him, because if he was, why would he, go out to try and find them. He could have just said, like, that he was in school and he couldn't leave school, so he like took some of his own time to go try and help them.
Yeah, I agree with that.
All right, Nolan, what does your group think? Just read the paper.
Our group believes that Brady should not be accountable for Ben's death. I do agree with this part about Brady, the drill, but Brady found it outside next to the shed. It wasn't Brady who tried to kill Ben. This leads up to the first degree murder. From the reading, as of now, we know that JT and Digger were the ones who tried to kill Ben. In specific, which is the Bible.
Okay, just keep going.
I don't get it.
Is that it?
No. In the book Red Kayak, chapter 6, it states that Brady didn't set out to be a hero, honestly. He just wanted Ben and his mother to be okay. This defines that Brady tried his best to save Ben. He did everything he could do. These are some reasons why Brady should not be accountable for Ben's death.
My group thinks that Brady should be held accountable for Ben's death because he had the idea of drilling the holes in the kayak.
Even though it was his idea, he still tried to save Ben. He didn't know that they would actually take it seriously. He thought it was a joke to them, or at least to Digger. But Digger kind of forced JT to go with it.
My group thinks that Brady should be held accountable because Brady touched the drill and he left his finger marks with paint. So even if there was evidence, there's no more because Brady would be held accountable for it.
Even no, JT and Digger didn't yell something out. Brady still could have, and he didn't. So maybe that's another reason why he should be held accountable.
Well, what if he decided not to call out to Mr. D'Angelo because he didn't know that the holes were drilled into the kayak, and what if he just thought it was Mr. D'Angelo going out and not Ben and Mrs. D'Angelo?
Brady could have also been under like peer pressure with his friends there because he knew JT and Digger, well mainly Digger, didn't care for Mr. D'Angelo or any of the D'Angelos. So maybe he felt like he couldn't yell something because he was with all of his friends.
On page 50, paragraph 6, Brady said, "Shoot," I exclaimed, kicking the Kleenex box on the floor. "I should have gotten there faster." This shows that he was like pushing himself for not getting there fast enough and being angry at himself because he didn't save Ben. And if he was doing this, why would he even want Ben dead? Which proves that he didn't really drill the holes. It wasn't really his fault.
Yeah, and on page 21, paragraph 1, it says, I was running so fast that practically slipped and fell off the dock, which means he was like really worried about Ben and Mrs. D'Angelo, so he was like trying to get there so he could save them.
And in chapter 16, page 120, in paragraph 2, he said, this is after Mrs. D'Angelo had hired him to work. He said, "Honestly, the money meant nothing to me, and I was beginning to wonder about something else." So it shows that he never really forgot about Ben's death, and he shows that he does have good morals and ethics. So he shouldn't really be held accountable because he really didn't have any part of the death. So, yeah. Well, Brady took the drill and then he grabbed his backpack and he hid it. And on chapter 15, page 108, he said, "Next thing I did was take the drill out of my backpack to hide it I was mixed up. So he took the drill out of his backpack and he has his fingerprints on it now. And he hid it, so
So on the other hand, they can't say that Brady or his dad did it because they use the drill for repairs and jobs. So they'd already have their fingerprints on it.
Brady had an argument with Digger about the drill, and Digger says to Brady, Brady, it was your idea in the first place to drill holes in the kayak.
All right, let's stop there.
So we're doing the comments. So far Nicole has spoken twice, Angela 4 times, Chris 3, Cameron once, Taylor 3, Nolan once, Friends 3, Danny twice, and Joe 3 times.
Okay, so from this, what would you say we need to do better?
I would say that Nolan and Cameron should speak up more and say what their thoughts are against the other side.
Okay, thank you, thank you, Jessica. Let's go to Philip. And Philip and Victor, are you guys on the same? Okay, you guys are counting the quotes. How many people have quoted the text?
Chris has quoted the book 3 times. Danny has quoted it once. Taylor once. Renz once. Joe once. Cameron, Nicole, Angela, and Nolan once.
Okay, so everybody, or almost everybody, has quoted the book. Are you guys counting any research quotes? Have you heard anybody quote research to support their side yet?
No.
Yeah. So, first degree murder was quoted, but that was it.
Oh, yeah.
Everybody else was a book quote, right? Okay, so what would you guys like to see in the second half?
More quotes on research and quotes in general.
Okay, thank you, Victor. And moving on to John.
Chris, Nolan, Angela, Nicole, Danny, and Taylor all have one transition. So I think they need to use like more of the transitions more than just jumping into one sentence.
Okay, so don't just jump into your thought, make sure you're addressing the other side and then saying your thought. So those transitions are in front of you guys, make sure you use them, okay? All right, so at this point in time, the speakers need to leave the inner circle and they need to go to their coaches.
actually like physical do it and like he wasn't involved in it, he just said it that one time. And like he tried to save Ben, so it kind of proves that he wasn't trying to get
I would, but I really don't. I can't really read some of the words. Try to get at least 3. Okay. So have one up there, and one up there. Yeah. Just do this route. So there. Do you want the sheet or do you want the sheet? Emergency DNA, that's fine. Like you mean, yeah, if they test that, we don't know if Digger or gloves or
Okay, just make sure it says not one person.
She had like time and stuff. I had to take it out one of
No, I want you to read it so you can.
I like seeing that really
So we need more transitions and more quotes. Yeah.
Is that all yours, right?
the first one. This is right here.
Paragraph 1. It's the chapter pretty much. 5 compressions, another breath.
That's not my good side.
You guys have about a minute.
That's not really like.
I mean, it could be.
No, anyone would have done.
But it shows he's trying to do that. And it
Yeah,
shows that.
that's actually good.
You get it? So first say this and this, like later say this and this.
How about we do?
All right, we're gonna reconvene in 40 seconds. 40
One,
seconds.
right? And then 2, 2. Does that make sense, Nolan?
After you say this, take a break.
So your ones together.
And then say this and this. Good?
Joey.